Hi folks, it's Calvin here. It is 6:30 here on Monday the 27th, and this is the start of Ask Calvin Live, tips on writing the best resume ever. So welcome to this first ever Ask Calvin Live. I wanted to kind of put this on in conjunction with my event and education center here, 540 West Main. It is a balmy summer day here. It's a Monday. It's been one of those days, very busy today, but I wanted to make sure that I was here with all of you who are interested in having support for your small business endeavors and your resume writing endeavors. This presentation will sort of kind of be in tandem with my webinar series, the 10 do's and don'ts for writing the best business resume ever, which I thought was going to be available for download today, but because of my schedule and because of it being so chaotic, I had decided to give myself a little bit more time to make sure that I was giving you a really quality webinar, even though it's $1. But no matter what I do, whether it's $1 or free, I'm all about quality. So I wanted to make sure that the resume was, or the webinar was quality. So I extended myself one more day. So now you can pre-order the webinar now, and it will be available. If you pre-order now, it'll automatically download for you on tomorrow at 5 p.m., the 28th, Tuesday the 28th. And so, yeah. So this is really a session for you. I'm here to answer your questions. What I will do is make sure that I go out and tweet the link. Let me just do that here. Give me just a moment. I want to tweet the link or share the link so that folks know that we are live and ready for your questions. So let's do that. I hope that you guys are having, or I shouldn't say guys, I hope that everyone who's watching is having a really amazing day. This is kind of the start after this Ask Live, kind of my staycation, if there's a such thing for myself. I'm always working, always thinking, always planning and plotting. And so I wanted to give myself this week and next week to still work and be productive, but kind of take not a complete break from social media, because I don't think that's possible for me at the moment, but just kind of like not be as tied and connected as I have been. So I wanted to make sure that I built that in. Let me just take a moment to tweet the links until we get some folks on the line here. So we get some viewers here on the line. I'm sharing the link, the YouTube link. I did the webinar last week and it was really great, and then it just didn't work. And I was devastated, and I spent an hour, and so I had to kind of come up with a new concept and redo this thing. But that is the name of the game, right? Kind of trying something, there's technical difficulties, it does not work. You just retool and make it work, as they say. So let me, yeah, I'm a little always confused with Google Hangout. So I guess I just didn't set it up right, and I don't know where the feed is, but this is a much better kind of concept, because this will allow me to give you a much more quality product and be able to download it anytime you like. So let me do that. How many links? So many places to post. So many places to post, and I didn't realize how difficult it was to try to still engage in conversation while I am kind of knee-deep in resume writing. For those of you who are watching who will watch who are local to the Rochester area, a really exciting, just non-resume related, but kind of like a 540 plug-in promo will be that I just launched the 540 West Main Used Cooking Oil Collection Program. So what happens is that I can pick up, if you're in the Rochester area, I can pick up or you can deliver to me any used cooking oil, whether you're a restaurant or private owner or just, you know, someone who's really about sustainability as I am. And your cooking oil is recycled to make biodiesel and kind of non-fossil fuel-based diesel fuel. So how cool is that? So that started. There'll be a used oil collection drive coming up very soon. But really, the space here at 540 West Main is all about education, all about teaching and sharing and learning about mindfulness and health and nutrition and sustainability, which is all part of that, and kind of like so that we can protect the earth and just to be more mindful about how we're doing, reusing. That is really what I wanted to build here in this space. And so I'm really happy to be able to do that with the community. So I say all that to say, if you have some contacts who are in the restaurant business who fry a lot, I tend not to, but I do sometimes, or you just have your own used cooking oil, please, 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 please contact me at asktheglutenfreechef@gmail.com to learn about how you can become part of the collection program and either have me pick up or you can deliver here to 540 if you're local, your used cooking oil. I'm really super excited about that. And there's so much stuff happening all the time, which is great. Never a dull moment. Keeps my days very full. Helps me sleep better at night. So we still don't have anyone connected just yet, and that's okay. This is the first time event, and I know that it takes time to connect. I'm gonna hop on Twitter here. How many Facebook pages? So many Facebook pages. How long have we been on? You spend more time posting and linking. My God, can't realize how many pages I manage as a media entrepreneur, content creator. So cool. And if no one signs up for questions, you know, I think I'm pretty learned at kind of making the moment work. I'm just trying to pick a topic that I think is relevant to those of you who are business owners and resume writers and looking for career advice and consulting. Really, the whole concept of this Ask Calvin Live in conjunction with 540 is kind of just me sharing the expertise that I've learned. And so through these Ask Live segments, which will always be free, and then the live webinar series, starting with the 10 do's and don'ts, you can kind of glean some of the advice that I have learned over the years as someone who I am an entrepreneur and I've worked in industry. And sometimes I just wish I had someone's brain to pick who could support me a little bit better when I needed some support. So, on Facebook, it's posted on Twitter here. And I just have one more place, I think, that I want to post the link. And to do this, don't you love my background? Just behind me is my wash photo. So all throughout 540 West Main is artwork from myself and from every month will be a local featured artist. And this month, for the whole month of July, has been the artwork of Carly Brown, who not only is a friend, but is also a local artist who has so graciously kind of joined. When you start something brand new, it's like everything that you do is brand new. And so it's kind of like building things from the ground up. So that's fun. But the 540 gallery concept is really cool. In August will be the artwork of LaShonda Davis, who is a beautiful, brilliant African-American artist here in Rochester. And I can't wait for her work to be displayed here. And then in September will be the work of Carrie Lindstrom. And her work is amazing as well. So many talented people, just musicians in Rochester. So interesting. So fun. So I'm just sending all the links to all those folks who are interested. It's taken me like 30 minutes to send these links, literally. So many links. Okay. What's me, Calvin, here, kind of here for your questions. I always have a consortium of questions, so even if there's no one who is watching live, I think this can still be very useful. So something that I always wanted to know is, how long should my cover letter be? So I'll answer that question. In my opinion, you want to make sure that your cover letter is to the point, not to the point of being kind of like harsh or rude, but to the point where you have about 6 to 8 seconds to really capture the attention of the person, the audience who you submitted your resume to. A lot of times the resume goes through a computer system before it even ever gets to anyone who's a human. If you happen to get the direct email from someone, you want to make sure that your email is actually one that doesn't sit in someone's junk, gets transferred to the junk pile or go into the trash heap. So even though I don't really have necessarily like a word count length, you want to make sure, I say that standard protocol will be to keep your cover letter to no more than 1 page. I'm sorry, scratch that. Keep your cover letter to no more than 1 paragraph. And if you're sending an email cover letter, you want to send it as an attachment, but also put the cover letter message in the body of your email. So if you've kind of created a document in Word as your cover letter, I would still attach that cover letter to your email as an attachment and the resume as well. But in the body of your email, pretty much summarize or create a synopsis of your cover letter in the body of the email, because sometimes people don't ever click on an attachment. And so you want to make sure that your email body is really reflective of your cover letter and why someone needs to actually click to open up your cover letter and or resume, really. So I say, if you're doing an email cover letter, that should be no more than probably 5 to 6 sentences, a paragraph. Dear John, dear Ann, dear audience, whoever that audience is, my name is such and such. Here's why I'm emailing you. This is in response to. And what I like to usually do is, in an email, I put in the subject of the email, I put like application or potential applicant or applicant colon, and then whatever the job, if it is an actual job resume that you're submitting a cover letter for in resume, be specific as to that in the cover letter or in the subject of your email, so that the person who's reading the email knows even before they open up the body of the email what the purpose of this email is going to be. Because sometimes, I know for me, myself, when I'm scrolling through emails, I don't always necessarily open up everything all at the same time always. And sometimes I like to know essentially I just lost my train of thought. I like to know what I'm going to open up before I actually do the opening. So make sure that your subject of your email also kind of is clear as to what the body of your email is, because again, it's all about saving time and getting to people's information. So what's another question that how long should my resume be? Your resume really should be no more than 2 pages. 2 pages is actually I would say max, unless you're submitting some type of a more formal portfolio. 2 pages is really more than sufficient and really kind of at the longer end of the spectrum. One of the things that I bring out in my webinar, the 10 do's and don'ts of writing the best business resume ever, is that in your webinar or in your resume, you want to make sure that you're tailoring your resume specifically to each and every audience. So instead of creating this generic stock resume that you submit to dozens of jobs kind of ad nauseum, you want to create or tailor or edit your resume very specifically for each audience that you're sending it to, as well as the cover letter. You can usually keep the same format, etc., but you really want to make your resume stand out and be specific to each and every audience member that you're sending it to. Because people can kind of see through kind of a generic form letter, and you never want to have it where information contained in a resume that you might be best served to use for one type of a job or career makes no sense being included for another type of a job or career. So really taking the time, and what I always tell people is, if you're writing a resume and cover letter for career purposes, maybe you've lost a job or you're new in the job market, or for whatever the reason is you're on the job market, you want to make sure that you're taking the time to edit the document to make it very customized for that specific audience. It's really easy to send generic form letters. I've been there, I've done that, but I think you have better success and better chances of landing a better job quicker by taking out that time on the front end. Creating a really solid, succinct, pointed and direct resume and cover letter increases your chances of getting to that interview, because it's not about just submitting blanket or en masse resumes. I mean, volume does have a degree with it, but you're not necessarily racing to submit as many resumes as possible. You're trying to get quality leads. You're trying to submit your resume in a way that you're going to most likely get a call back from a hiring manager or from an HR manager or from a recruiter. And you do that by presenting a really solid document up front on the front end, even though doing that sometimes doesn't allow you to send out as many resumes maybe as possible. So that's definitely a point of advice. And I think I'll probably go for another 5 minutes of this ACT session, unless somebody does, some other folks. I don't have any viewers at the moment. I'm being very transparent, which I like to be. So I'm trying to think about some other questions that people ask me. So the webinar that will be downloadable through Gumroad, and I'll post the links. I'll put a link in the chat bar for you in the comment section for that webinar, which is only $1, and through my platform, the Gumroad platform, which is a makers and a content creator platform, which allows me to kind of have more control and full access and control of my media content. I'll post that link now, but what I was going to say is, what was I going to say? I just forgot. In the webinar, I talk about you making sure that you are properly editing for grammar your resume, because you definitely don't want to be put into the trash heap or someone's shredded bin for misspelled words or for putting in information that's completely irrelevant to your audience. So that's why careful proofreading is really kind of key and sound. And I'm just going to grab the link here and put it in the comment section for all of you to be able to pre-order the 10 Do's and Don'ts webinar, which is my first ever kind of global rollout of a webinar moment. It's $1 through my Gumroad platform. and it's 10 do's and don'ts of writing the best business resume ever. So it's about a 10-slide presentation. The way in which I will produce the webinar is that you'll be able to see, kind of walk you step by step, because I originally presented this information before in front of a live, kind of a live studio audience concept at a small business seminar about 2 Saturdays ago now. So with that, I thought it was just such great content, and I had such, the great thing about presenting live is that you're able to really piggyback off of the feedback of the audience. When I'm here online with you, it's really, I'm not able to get feedback as much, especially if there's no one live chatting or live tweeting. But when you're actually standing in front of people, even if it's only 4 or 5 people, you're able to kind of, your energy is built from the audience's energy. And so when I presented this originally in front of a live studio audience, the audience, the energy was great. People had excellent questions. People were participating. And so we really had a great discussion, and a really meaningful discussion, and I think a really helpful discussion. The tenets of the webinar, I remember what I was going to say. The tenets of writing a business resume, the information contained in this webinar applies just the same if you were going to be writing a resume for more of a career-based or job or workforce development situation. The information, the principles still apply. So you don't have to think that, oh, I'm not starting a business, or I'm not presenting this before a bank, it doesn't apply to me. The information, I really wanted to create the webinar and the presentation to be able to be multifunctional and to work across formats and to work across reasons. No matter what reason someone may or may not need a resume, I wanted the resume, the webinar to be really applicable to them. And so for that reason, that's why I was able to make sure the information was kind of relatable for all audiences, so to speak. So you'll find that. And what I'll do is, we have about 1 minute remaining on my new revised time frame, and I'll just go ahead and answer another question that I frequently have gotten from people who I've done small business and resume consultation with. In terms of formatting, what format should I use? You don't have to necessarily be married to any particular format. I think there are dozens of resume templates online. A simple Google search will help you with that. You don't have to necessarily create a document in Word. But what I do say in the webinar, and I'll say here, when talking about what format should you use, you definitely want to use a generally accepted business type of a format. You want to definitely save any type of a multimedia digital component or other format. It's okay to still send that to show your personality if you think that that's something that works for what you're presenting as your business brand, or yourself if yourself is the brand. But people still like kind of like that traditional PDF document or Word document or other file that can be opened up in an email program, whether that be Yahoo or Gmail or whatever. And there's the timer. Readable in a very basic background with font that's readable, black or dark font specifically. You definitely want to make sure that your resume can be read by a computer software program that you would think about, like if you're going to submit it through monster.com or indeed.com or jobs.com, and also from someone who's opening up a Word document in an email. And you have to think about PDF file extensions are the most kind of generally accepted across all computer operating systems, across all web browsers. You can never really go wrong with the PDF. So I always like to take a Word document or other type of a document and convert it into a PDF file for my email attachments, because that way you're making sure that font doesn't get scrambled, font doesn't get messed up. If someone has an older computer, if someone is opening it up from a smartphone, sometimes in other types of formats, smartphones and other types of devices render your information a bit skewed. And so by putting it in a PDF format in a final sense makes that less likely to happen. So I hope that this information was beneficial. I hope that if you weren't able to watch live, that you watch kind of after this is posted on YouTube. I hope that you're able to glean information from the questions that I've answered in this mini session and tips on writing the best resume ever. I hope that you're able to go to the Gumroad platform and the link and download the webinar, which will be available. You can pre-order it now through Gumroad. The link is on my Facebook pages and is here in the comment section, but you can also click on the link and go directly to it. It's only $1. The 10 do's and don'ts of writing the best business resume ever is really where this Ask Calvin Live session was born from. I hope to make Ask Calvin a more regular feature of the Gluten Free Chef blog on the Media LLC in 540 West Main, which is Rochester's first and premier education, event and workforce development and career training center. Stay tuned for some really awesome programs coming up, and you can find out more about the events happening at 540 West Main if you're local, or if you're thinking about coming to the area, at 540westmain.org, and of course the glutenfreechefblog.com. You can find me on Twitter under hashtag glutenfreechef5, and also on SoundCloud and iTunes under the Ask the Gluten Free Chef moniker, which is a little bit more health and wellness and celiac focused. So until the next Ask Live session, this is Calvin signing out. Ask Calvin Live, tips on writing the best resume ever. And before I forget, if you are local, a week from this Wednesday, so a week from June 29th, hold on, let me make sure I get the right date. So unprofessional of me. July 6, 2016, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. here at 540 West Main will be a in-person resume writing workshop or boot camp where I can give you very specific in-person advice and feedback on writing the best resume ever. And there is an event for that via my Facebook channels, but also through Eventbrite, and I will go ahead and post the link to that as well here, so that all of you have that Eventbrite, because that is free, but donations are required. The donations are based on a $2 to $25 sliding scale. So you donate what you can afford if you're able to come to that writing workshop, resume writing workshop in real time in person here in upstate New York. I've just shared the link. And so again, this is Calvin signing out with Ask Calvin Live, tips on writing the best resume ever. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.